Classroom is here for you. It helps you in all you do. It helps you know you do. So tune in and now enjoy the fun. It's time for English, everyone. Studio Classroom is on the air. You can watch it everywhere. English is the way to go. So join us now, enjoy the show.
Well, hello there and welcome to Studio Classroom. We're very happy that you are joining us here today. My name is Gabe.
And I'm Anne-Marie. Today is a great day to learn something new.
It certainly is, so let's do that together. We are in the middle of a lesson about smoking called When You Smoke, You Play with Fire. And of course, yesterday we talked about what it means to play with fire in general. That means to take a foolish risk in life. What is something else we learned yesterday?
Well, we learned that traditional tobacco products like cigarettes, they've been linked to a wide range of health problems like cancer, heart disease, respiratory disorders, and stroke.
And so Taiwan, along with several other countries, are trying to do something about the harmful habit of smoking. And Taiwan really wants to try to reduce the number of young people who take up this destructive habit. Well, let's continue learning with our article right now.
When you smoke, you play with fire. The innumerable downsides to smoking should give smokers pause and encourage them to quit. Quitting tobacco improves your health and reduces your risk of various diseases, including lung cancer, heart disease, stroke, and respiratory problems. Quitting smoking can also improve your appearance. Tobacco use can cause wrinkles and yellow teeth. Quitting can lead to healthier skin, whiter teeth, and fresher breath. Smoking can also dull your senses of taste and smell. By stopping tobacco use, your senses recover, leading to enhanced enjoyment of food and beverages.
Hey everyone, welcome to Language Lab. I'm Jack. 我们先来看 innumerable 这个形容词，意思是无数的、数不清的。譬如 After graduating from college, Haley received innumerable job offers. Haley 大学毕业后收到无数的工作邀约，或是 Bill Gates gets innumerable requests for donations every year. Bill Gates 每年都收到数不清的捐款请求。再看一句 There were innumerable problems with the machine's design, so it took weeks before the company could start production. 这台机器的设计有许多的问题，所以公司花了几个星期才开始生产。再来看 wrinkle 这个名词，意思是皱纹。譬如 The older Alice gets, the more wrinkles she gets. Alice 年纪越大，皱纹就越多。Wrinkle 也指布料上的皱褶，譬如 The wrinkles in this pair of pants are very hard to iron out. 这条裤子上的皱褶很难烫平。Wrinkle 也可以当作动词，意思是拾起皱纹。譬如 Melody wrinkled her nose at some odd smell in the room. Melody 皱起鼻子闻房间里一些奇怪的气味。
Thank you very much, Jack. Friends, let's get right into it. I know you have your magazine open. We read here, the innumerable downsides to smoking should give smokers pause and encourage them to quit. We could talk about several things here. Of course, you just learned about the word innumerable in the language lab. So countless is another word we could use here. Downside. What is a downside? Well, that is a con or a disadvantage or the negative aspect of something. And as you could probably guess, the opposite is the upside of something.
That's right. Downsides and upsides are just like pros and cons. Often when you're making a list, trying to think of a decision that would be better, you would see what the pros are and the cons are, or the downsides and the upsides. Here's an example of how you could use upside in a sentence. The upside to renting instead of buying a home is that you don't have to pay for the repairs yourself. That would be a positive or a pro when it comes to renting a house.
That is a great example. And friends, we continue to learn about smoking here. The downsides to smoking should give smokers pause. Now you might wonder what that means, to give something pause or to give someone pause, okay? This is to cause someone to stop and think about something in a new way and maybe even doubt something that they believed before.
Yeah, and usually in this situation, it's not something that you've thought about before and maybe you never doubted it in the past, but something happens and so now you're questioning it. For example, the fact that your friend would talk behind your back should really give you pause. You might need to reevaluate that friendship.
And when it comes to smoking, a lot of people are raising awareness about how harmful it is. And when you raise awareness about anything, your hope is to give people pause, that they would start to think about it in a different way, right? Well, we continue here. Quitting tobacco improves your health and reduces your risk of various diseases, including lung cancer, heart disease, stroke, and respiratory problems. Some of the problems that came up in our lesson yesterday.
That's right. Here's another upside to quitting smoking. Quitting smoking can also improve your appearance. Tobacco use can cause wrinkles and yellow teeth. Quitting can lead to healthier skin, whiter teeth, and fresher breath. If something leads to something else, that means that it causes the effect at the end. For example, one person starting a petition could lead to reform in the government. There's a cause and effect happening there.
Well, we read on here, smoking can also dull your senses of taste and smell. The opposite of to dull something is to sharpen something, and you want to keep your senses sharpened. But is there another way we can use that phrase, to dull your senses?
Yeah, we usually talk about a specific sense, one of the 5 senses when we use this. Something else that could dull your sense of smell would be a sinus infection. Anything that causes you to smell or taste or hear or see or feel less is dulling your senses.
Well, we do have more to learn right after this.
Hey, welcome to InfoCloud. Rex, are you okay? You look worried. What's wrong?
Do you remember Max, my roommate in college? He's trying to quit smoking and he's having a very difficult time.
Oh, that's sad. It can be hard to quit smoking. Lots of people develop withdrawal symptoms when they suddenly stop taking something they are used to.
What do you mean by withdrawal?
Well, in this case, withdrawal refers to the experience or feeling one might have when they stop doing or having something that their body or mind is so used to. Sometimes people call it chemical withdrawal.
That makes sense because there are chemicals in things like cigarettes that people get addicted to. But what does that have to do with taking money out of your bank account?
Well, that's a different way of using the word withdrawal. Withdrawal can also refer to taking something out of something else.
So I withdraw money from the bank or make a withdrawal.
Yes, but you can also withdraw from an organization, activity, or commitment.
I guess withdrawal symptoms are the body's way of telling us that something it's used to having has been taken out. For example, when you eat a lot of candy every day and then suddenly stop eating it, you might have a sugar withdrawal.
Exactly. But we treat withdrawal symptoms as a negative thing. Other types of withdrawals don't have the same negative meanings.
在生活中，人们都可能有某种上瘾的物品，不管是好或坏。如果要戒除，那就一定会出现 withdrawal symptoms 戒断症状。Withdrawal 也有退回的含义。Withdrawal symptoms 就是身体习惯某种化学元素突然没有了所产生的身体反应，通常是不舒服的。你也可以说那是 chemical withdrawal 化学戒断症状。She had a sugar withdrawal when she stopped eating candy. 她不吃糖果之后出现了糖分的戒断症状。除了戒断 ，withdraw 也有取回的含义。例如 ，He withdraws the money from the bank. 他把钱从银行领回。这就是今天的 Info Cloud，我们下次云端见。
When you smoke, you play with fire. Unfortunately, quitting tobacco isn't easy. Most people will also encounter numerous challenges, including nicotine withdrawal and symptoms such as cravings, irritability, and difficulty concentrating. Supportive social environments, coping strategies, and professional help are crucial for overcoming these things and living a smoke-free life.
接下来看 symptom 这个名词，意思是疾病的症状或征兆。譬如 The first thing a doctor usually asks is what a person's symptoms are. 医生通常首先会问病人的症状是什么，或是 Sudden weight loss is sometimes a symptom of a serious illness. 体重突然减轻，有时是严重疾病的征兆。再看一句 After working for 3 months without a day off, Marian began to show symptoms of stress. 在连续工作3个月而没有休假的情况下 Marian 开始出现压力的症状。
Thank you very much, Jack. Well, we read here, unfortunately, quitting tobacco isn't easy. Quitting smoking isn't easy, right? Most people will also encounter numerous challenges, including nicotine withdrawal and symptoms such as cravings, irritability, and difficulty concentrating. Well, what does it mean if you have withdrawal symptoms? That means you're trying to quit something or get out of a habit of something or leave something, but it's very difficult for some reason, maybe even physically difficult to do so.
That's right. We often use the word withdrawal when it comes to an addiction that you are trying to quit. For example, some people might be addicted to coffee, so when they stop drinking coffee, they have withdrawal symptoms, such as headaches or irritability. A lot of these same symptoms we see here.
Well, if you are having withdrawal symptoms from smoking or trying to quit smoking, I did read that nicotine patches is a good alternative. So don't take up e-cigarettes, don't use HTPs, heated tobacco products. In fact, I think that in the cigarette and cigar section of a store, they should also sell nicotine patches, because the fact is a lot of people may want to stop smoking or quit smoking, but it's kind of a hard thing to do because of withdrawal symptoms.
That's right. We also saw in this sentence one of the withdrawal symptoms was difficulty concentrating. Of course, if you concentrate on something, it's your ability to focus on it. And sometimes it's hard to concentrate at work or at school for different reasons, but a lot of people find ways to concentrate. For example, listening to music might help some people concentrate.
Yeah, depending on what kind of music that is. I love a lot of hard rock music, but I find that if I'm trying to study or do some work, it's good for me to listen to classical music. That will help me concentrate. Well, some other words you saw in this sentence are craving and irritability. If you have a craving, that is a powerful or strong desire for something. For example, a lot of people, when they're pregnant, they crave certain things that they didn't before. Maybe you liked something before, but you really want it now. Did that happen to you?
Yeah, it did. My last pregnancy, I craved fried chicken all the time. And I don't usually eat a lot of meat, so that was a really weird craving for me.
Yeah. Well, another word you see here is irritability, and this is the idea of becoming easily annoyed with something or with somebody else, right? If you are irritable, that means you become easily annoyed. So we read on here, supportive social environments, coping strategies, and professional help are crucial. Now, what is a coping strategy?
Well, a coping strategy is something that you do to help you get through something difficult. For example, maybe if you have anxiety, a coping strategy you might have to calm yourself down is taking a walk out in nature. There are many different kinds of coping strategies, friends. We saw some of them here. But right now, it's time for us to go to our fun fact for the day.
Hello, fact friends. I am Detective Ernest Finder, and I have a fun fact for you today. Did you know that quitting smoking can make you smell better? And no, I don't mean smell like you will smell better, though smoking is a pretty stinky habit, it just is. But when you stop smoking, your taste will improve and food will be more enjoyable. So that milk tea will taste so good and will smell better. And that is a fun fact and a good reason to quit smoking today.
When you smoke, you play with fire. When you are ready to quit, set a date and stick to it. Seek support from friends, family, or a support group. Remove triggers and avoid situations associated with smoking. To manage cravings, consider nicotine replacement therapy or medications. Find alternatives or distractions like exercise or hobbies to take your mind off smoking. Stay positive and resilient, and celebrate small victories. Remind yourself often why you want to quit. In the end, you'll be healthier and glad you did.
最后来看 therapy 这个名词，意思是治疗。譬如 In order to walk properly, Riley had to get physical therapy after his leg healed from surgery. 为了能正常走路 ，Riley 必须在腿部手术康复后进行物理治疗。或者是 Sometimes a walk in the sunshine is all the therapy a person needs. 有时候在阳光下散步就是一个人所需要的治疗。再看一句。A new drug therapy has been developed to help cure that type of cancer. 已经开发出一种新的药物疗法来帮助治疗那种癌症。
Thank you very much, Jack. We read here, when you are ready to quit, set a date and stick to it. Now, sticking to something could have different definitions. It could mean that you're continuing to try hard to do something difficult, or it could mean to not change to something else. So you're using one product and you're going to stick to it. You're not going to switch to another brand or something like that. But in our lesson, we're going with that other definition, okay? You're going to continue to try hard to do something that may be kind of difficult.
Here's another way you could use that phrase. She likes to begin new projects and hobbies, but she rarely sticks to them. That means she doesn't usually continue them once she's started. We read here, seek support from friends, family, or a support group. These are all some coping strategies you can use to help you quit smoking.
Remove triggers and avoid situations associated with smoking. A trigger is the part of a gun that fires the bullet. When you pull the trigger, the bullet leaves the gun, right? And so a trigger in life in general is something that kind of has an effect on you, especially psychologically or emotionally. Maybe it makes you immediately think of something else that is kind of negative, or it puts you in a negative frame of mind. So remove those types of triggers.
We read on here to manage cravings, consider nicotine replacement therapy or medications. Find alternatives or distractions like exercise or hobbies to take your mind off smoking.
Now, if you take your mind off something, that means you were thinking about something. And we usually use this phrase to talk about stopping thinking about something that is kind of unpleasant or negative or difficult to think about. So you want to take your mind off of those things.
Maybe when you get home from work or school and you've had a really long day, you take your mind off your problems by scrolling through social media or watching TV.
What we read here, stay positive and resilient. I love that word, resilient. We often say that children are resilient. They often fall down, but they get right back up and they're able to recover quickly. That's the idea. If you are resilient, you're able to recover from something quickly or from a difficult situation and to be able to move on successfully.
That's right. Our sentence also says that you should celebrate small victories. What is a small victory? Well, a small victory is something that may not seem like something worth celebrating, but it is, and it maybe has helped you improve or take one step further. For example, maybe you are trying to quit smoking and you made it through 2 whole days without smoking a cigarette. That might seem like a small victory, but you should still celebrate it.
And of course, we read, remind yourself often why you want to quit. It's so important to remember your why for doing certain things. Well, right now it is time for our Talk About It question. David,
Yes, my friend.
do you think tobacco products should still be sold in stores? Why or why not?
Yes, I do. All right. The reason why is that the best way to get people to maybe not do something as much or to stop doing something, usually the best way is not to just cut off their access to it, especially if the people you're talking about are adults. If they stopped selling cigarettes in stores, well, then you would have a lot of angry, frustrated people who can't get their cigarettes, which they are maybe addicted to, and then you would have a problem with people illegally buying and selling cigarettes from other places. At least if you're going to a 7-Eleven and buying cigarettes from a legitimate company, you know that they're not putting weird chemicals that really shouldn't be in there, right? Or especially with vaping, there's a lot of nasty stuff that people could put in there that would be worse than nicotine. But if they can buy it legally, then there are going to be laws that say how you have to make it. And even though it's still not good for your health, at least you're getting it from a legal and safe source. So I think that tobacco products should be available for people who still want to do them, want to use them, but educating people, especially the next generation, about the real effects of tobacco is a much better way to reduce smoking overall.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
My pleasure.
It is time for a quiz. Anne-Marie, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, fill in the blank. When you are ready to quit, set a date and blank to it. Stop to it, stick to it, or smoke to it.
Well, it's definitely not smoke to it. I believe the correct answer would be to stick to it. Stay with that date.
That's right. Stick to your plan that you have in mind, right? Especially if you want to quit smoking. It is good to have different strategies in mind. One thing that I recommend to people is that when you see your friends with a cigarette in their hand and you just want to hang out, well, maybe go buy a bag of chips or a drink or something like that. That way you have something in your hand as well, something that you are eating anyway. Well, we do have another completely different lesson for you next time, so make sure that you join us then right here on
Studio Classroom.
It's a lifetime. I am so proud to have you in my life. A good friend lasts a lifetime.